to make a frittata. Your stomach is rumbling and the refrigerator is empty, save for a few veggies and eggs. It's time to think frittata, a surefire way to make a tasty meal with a creative mix of leftovers. You will need 1 cup of chopped vegetables, 6 or more eggs, herbs, 2 tablespoons of cooking oil, chopped meats, and 1 cup of grated cheese. Optional: sun-dried tomatoes, chickpeas, feta cheese, bread, and salad. Step 1. Sauté any combination of vegetables in 1 tablespoon of cooking oil until the vegetables are tender to make a one-of-a-kind frittata. Add sun-dried tomatoes, chickpeas, and feta cheese to make a Greek-style frittata. Step 2. Crack 6 or more eggs into a mixing bowl and beat until fluffy, then stir in any desired herbs. Step 3. Add 1 tablespoon of cooking oil to an oven-proof skillet. Step 4. Pour the egg mixture into the skillet, then add the vegetables and optional chopped meats. Step 5. Bake the mixture in a preheated 350-degree oven about 10 minutes until soft, then remove. Step 6. Top the frittata with cheese, then place under a broiler for 5 minutes or until it is firm and golden brown. Add bread and salad to the dinner to make a complete meal. Step 7. Let the frittata rest for 5 minutes before plating, then serve. You'll not only have a great dinner, but frittata leftovers served cold will satisfy appetites tomorrow. Did you know? The 2010 annual White House Easter egg roll involved 14,500 hard-boiled eggs.
How to make fettuccine Alfredo. 1 bite of this creamy, decadent dish and you'll be hooked for life. Serve with a salad and tell yourself it's healthy. You will need 1 8-ounce block of Parmesan cheese, 1½ teaspoons of salt, 1 12-ounce box of fettuccine noodles, 1 stick of butter, 1 cup of light cream, a dash of white pepper, 1 egg yolk, and 1 cup of partially thawed peas. Equipment: a cheese grater, 2 small bowls, a large pot, a medium saucepan, and a colander. Step 1. Grate the Parmesan cheese into a bowl. Use freshly grated Parmesan cheese. Step 2. Fill a large pot about 2/3 full of water. Add 1 teaspoon of salt and put on high heat. Step 3. Prepare the sauce while the water heats. Melt butter in a medium saucepan over low heat. Add the cream, the remaining ½ teaspoon salt, and the pepper. Heat and stir until steam rises, but do not boil. Step 4. Separate an egg yolk into a small bowl. Add 3 tablespoons of the hot cream mixture and stir with a fork. Whisk the egg yolk into the sauce and heat thoroughly. Mixing a small amount of hot cream into the egg yolk prevents the egg from scrambling. Step 5. When the water is at a rolling boil, add the fettuccine, stir, and cook until al dente. Drain the pasta and quickly return it to the pot. Step 6. Add the hot cream sauce and half the grated cheese to the pasta and stir vigorously. The hot pasta and sauce will melt the cheese. Once the first half of the cheese is melted, fold in the peas and the rest of the cheese. Did you know a Rome restaurant claims to have created fettuccine Alfredo in 1914?
How to make gnocchi. Learn to make these tiny Italian potato dumplings and try them with your favorite sauce instead of traditional pasta. You will need 2 pounds of russet potatoes, 2 egg yolks beaten, 1½ cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, pasta sauce, butter, and Parmesan cheese. Equipment: a ricer. Step 1. Bake the unpeeled potatoes in a 350-degree oven for about an hour until fork tender. Step 2. Let the potatoes cool until you can just handle them. Step 3. Scoop out the inside of the potatoes and discard the skins. Pass the potatoes through a ricer. If you don't have a ricer, mash the potatoes lightly with a fork. Step 4. Add the beaten egg yolks, flour, and salt to the potatoes to form a dough. Do not overmix the dough. You want your gnocchi to be light. Overmixing or adding too much flour will make them heavy. Step 5. Roll the dough by hand on a floured surface into 3/4-inch rolls. Treat the dough lightly. Gently roll out the dough with your fingertips without pressing down hard or compressing it. Step 6. Cut the rolls into 1-inch pieces. They should look like little dumplings. Use your fingertip or the tines of a fork to make a slight indentation in each one. Step 7. Cook the gnocchi in batches, about 20 at a time, in gently boiling salted water. Remove them when they rise to the top. Then drain the water and place them on a platter. Step 8. Serve the gnocchi with warm pasta sauce or simply butter and Parmesan cheese. Did you know? The Friuli region of Italy is known for sweet gnocchi made with plums, flour, and potato.
How to make smoked mozzarella and ricotta fritters. This recipe involves very hot cooking oil, so be careful and never leave the oil unattended.
I'm Mark Murphy, chef of Landmark, and today we're going to be showing you how to make smoked mozzarella and ricotta fritters.
You will need 1 pound of fresh ricotta cheese, a 1/4 pound of smoked mozzarella cheese cut into cubes, half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese, 3/4 of a cup of whole milk, 3 eggs, 3/4 of a cup of flour, a half a teaspoon of baking powder, some salt and pepper, 2 quarts of canola oil, a large mixing bowl, a mixing spoon, a heavy 5-quart pot, a candy thermometer, 2 serving spoons or tablespoons, a shallow wire skimmer, a large plate or cooling rack, some paper towels, and a pair of tongs. Step 1. Start the fritter batter.
You take your ricotta, put it into a bowl. Take your smoked mozzarella, which we've diced up, some Parmesan, and a little bit of milk. We're gonna mix that up for a second. And then we're gonna add in our eggs, break the yolks, mix them in.
Step 2. Season the batter.
A little salt and pepper in there. Throw in a little baking powder and flour. We're not going to use all this flour. You mix it in. You want it to be kind of thick. You want to follow recipes, but you also want to just work with a technique. You get used to making fritters. You'll get to feel how thick you want this.
Step 3. Check the temperature of the oil. Don't forget to start heating the oil about 15 to 20 minutes before you're ready to use it.
We're a little over 350 right now, which is good because when you have a hot oil and you're going to put something in there that's room temperature or even cold, the temperature of the oil is going to drop quite quickly, and you want to keep the temperature up.
Step 4. Spoon the batter into the oil. Ease the batter into the oil by spooning it close to the surface. Don't drop it from too high. The oil could splatter and burn you. Step 5. Cook the fritters.
It doesn't take too long to cook them, probably about 2 or 3 minutes. You want to try to turn them around so they get golden all the way around. When they're ready, there should be a nice dark golden brown.
Step 6. Remove the fritters.
As soon as they come out of the oil, put them on a paper towel, let them cool for about 4 or 5 minutes. You don't want to bite into them right away. They're going to be very hot in the center. So here they are, smoked mozzarella and ricotta.
Did you know traditionally ricotta is made from the whey left over from making mozzarella?
How to make risotto. It's not hard to make this decadent, creamy Italian rice dish. You will need 3 to 4 cups of chicken broth, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, half of a medium onion, diced, 2 garlic cloves, diced, 1 cup of arborio rice, a half a cup of dry white wine, 2 tablespoons of butter, and a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. Equipment: a medium saucepan, a heavy pot, and a ladle. Optional: herbs, vegetables, seafood, or meat. Step 1. Bring the chicken broth to a simmer in a medium saucepan. Step 2. Add the onion and garlic to the olive oil in a separate pot and sauté over medium-low heat until it is fragrant and translucent. Use a roomy, heavy pot that distributes heat evenly, such as a stock pot or Dutch oven. Step 3. Add the rice to the onion and garlic. Lightly toast it, stirring constantly over medium heat for about 3 minutes. Do not brown the rice. It should become translucent around the edges but remain white in the center. Step 4. Add the wine and stir and cook until nearly all of it is absorbed by the rice. Step 5. Add a ladleful of the hot broth to the rice, stir and cook until the broth is absorbed, and then add more stock. Repeat 1 ladleful at a time until the broth is nearly gone or the rice stops absorbing it. Add more ingredients for flavor: herbs, vegetables, seafood, poultry, or meat. Step 6. Continue stirring and cooking until the rice is tender. Add more stock or water if the risotto begins to dry out. Step 7. Remove from the heat and stir in the butter and Parmesan cheese for added creaminess. Now dig in. Did you know? For 2/3 of the world's people, rice is the foundation of home cooking.